Imagine a village where the only sound is the rhythmic clatter of silverware against empty plates, caught in a breeze. In 1923, 600 people in Hoer Verde vanished so fast, the stew was still bubbling on the stoves when authorities arrived. You call out a name, but the only response is the canned laughter from the television screen. Outside, the midday sun beats down on a village where every single front door is wide open. This isn't the set of a horror movie, it is the silent reality of Hoer Verde. In 1923, 600 people vanished from this Brazilian outpost without leaving a single footprint behind. Authorities arrived to find a ghost town that felt like the residents had simply stepped into air. The most disturbing detail wasn't the silence, but the fact that the village felt completely alive. Food was still steaming on kitchen tables, while laundry swayed gently on lines in the backyard. It was as if an entire community was deleted from existence in a single, collective heartbeat. In the local schoolhouse, the chalk was still warm on the floor. On the board, a frantic hand had scrawled, "No ha salvação." There is no salvation. It wasn't just a message. The wood of the chalkboard was deeply gouged, as if the writer was shaking in pure, primal terror. The date on the board was current, but the classroom was empty of its 30 students. A single gun lay on the floor, recently fired, yet there was no blood anywhere nearby. Search parties fanned out into the dense jungle, expecting to find bodies or signs of struggle. They found nothing but an oppressive, heavy silence that seemed to swallow the sound of their whistles. No tracks led out of the village, and no neighboring towns reported seeing a mass migration. 600 people don't just walk into the trees and disappear without leaving a broken branch. The Brazilian government eventually scrubbed the files, claiming the villagers fled due to local political conflict. But that explanation falls apart the moment you look at the items they left behind. People fleeing for their lives take their shoes, their money, and their most precious family photos. They didn't just leave their money and shoes, they left their lives in mid-motion. Investigators found half-written letters and lit pipes that had burned all the way down to the wood of the tables. But the most disturbing part? Not a single bird sang. The entire biological footprint of the village had been erased. It was as if the biological signature of the town had been wiped clean by something unknown. For decades, this remained a fringe legend until a group of researchers uncovered the regional census. They discovered that the village didn't just lose its people, it officially ceased to exist overnight. Some theories point to a localized viral outbreak that forced a panicked, immediate evacuation into the bush. But here is the detail that breaks reality. Investigators reported a flickering blue light inside the mayor's home. In 1923, television didn't exist, yet witnesses described the unmistakable sound of canned laughter echoing through the halls. It was as if a piece of the future had bled into the past. This is where the story shifts from a simple disappearance into something much more psychologically haunting. Nearby settlers didn't report lights in the sky. They reported a void, a massive, shimmering tear in the atmosphere that bled gray and silenced the jungle for miles. It didn't land. It synchronized with the village, turning the air into a thick, metallic static before everything simply blinked out. If a craft descended, it didn't land. It seemed to pull the village upward into itself. This would explain the lack of footprints and the terrifying speed of the entire event's conclusion. But if they were taken, why leave the TV on and the message on the chalkboard? The phrase, "no salvation," implies the villagers knew something was coming, and they were utterly terrified. Perhaps the shimmer wasn't a ship, but a temporary tear in the fabric of our physical reality. Physicists suggest that certain geographic locations can experience rare, catastrophic folds in the space-time continuum. If the village of Hoer Verde sat on a fault line of reality, it might have slipped. One minute they were eating lunch, and the next, they were standing in a different dimension. The TV remained because inanimate objects don't always transition through these theoretical portals like organic matter. The most haunting part of this theory is the idea that they might still be there. Imagine 600 people living in a mirror version of their village, watching us from the shadows. They can see the investigators walking through their homes, but they cannot scream loud enough to hear. The message on the board wasn't for the police. It was a warning to themselves. Recent satellite imagery of the site shows that nature hasn't fully reclaimed the center of the village. Trees grow around the perimeter, but the central square remains a barren patch of gray dirt. Locals in the region still refuse to hunt near the ruins, claiming the air feels thin. They describe a sensation of being watched by 1,000 eyes hidden just behind the breeze. Some hikers claim that if you sit quietly near the old schoolhouse, you can hear static. It sounds like a television left on a dead channel, buzzing with the ghosts of the past. The Brazilian military still maintains a no-fly zone over the coordinates for reasons they won't disclose. Every time an independent researcher gets close to the truth, the official records seem to vanish. We are left with a village that has no graves, no survivors, and no logical ending. If 600 people can vanish in a second, what is stopping it from happening again? The TV eventually flickered out, but the void left by Hoer Verde remains wide open today. Somewhere in the jungle, a schoolhouse stands empty, waiting for a bell that will never ring. The truth is likely buried in a dimension we aren't supposed to see or ever understand. The truth about Hoer Verde is buried in a static we aren't supposed to see. If you're ready to look deeper into what others choose to ignore, subscribe. We have more to uncover